Hello and welcome to Portsmouth This Week. I'm your host, Conley Wake. This show is under the auspices of Rich Rayner, our Portsmouth Town Administrator. Together, Rich, myself, and the entire Portsmouth This Week team are on a mission to build community. We do that by bringing you accurate and timely information about the issues and events that impact you. We introduce you to the faces, the leaders, the personalities in this magical place in which we live. I'm so excited today to have Rich himself. Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thanks, Connie. I appreciate the invite.
I feel like we're having a little bit of a kind of emergency show here. We just needed you. We needed to know what's going on because we got some folks in uproar about some new appraisals. We've got a brand new budget coming out, and I want to hear all about the process.
Sure.
And I know you've just always, you and I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
So we got to somehow condense this all into 30 minutes. But where do you want to start? What do you want to do?
I've received so many emails. I know that counselors are getting emails. Let's just hit the elephant, or touch upon the elephant in the room, and that's the assessments.
Okay.
The reality is this happens every 3 years. There's a full reval every 3 years. Every 3 years, the exact same issues come up.
I did not know that. So this is not new, really.
No. I think what has caught people by surprise this time is that the assessments, on average, they're going up 38%.
Okay.
Huge number. But what it's doing is it's really catching up with what happened after COVID and everybody coming in and driving the property values up. And that is a fact.
So it's trying to hit where the market would be.
That's exactly right.
That's what's happening.
So this was a full reval. People went around to every single property in town. They knocked on doors. If you let them in, that was great. If you didn't, or if you weren't home, they went around your property. And so this was a full reval.
Okay.
So I think what has people nervous is that's jolting when you get that letter in the mail, which everybody got this week, and says your property assessment went up 32%.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Because that can really scare people. But what happens is I think that people don't truly understand that there is a relationship between the assessed value of your property, different property classes, levies, legislation, and the tax rate, and how all of that equates to a tax bill. And it's really wonky, as I wrote to somebody this morning.
Did you use a technical term, wonky?
I did. I did, and it's just, it is, and it's complicated. However, but the bottom line is the tax rate, I think people are equating the tax rate with the rate in which their assessment went up.
Right, so if your assessment went up 30%, that does not mean your tax, the cash out of your pocket is going to go up 30%.
It did not. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's where people need to take the big breath.
Exactly. So.
Okay. All right.
The bottom line is, there'll be a proposed tax rate. I am still going warp speed to try to get this budget finished. I'll be in all weekend. I'll be with the tax assessor, the finance director. We're just about finished. Thank you. But we've been so sidetracked with so many other issues that we just haven't been able to devote the time to it and get it done on Friday, which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to hand it in today. So we know, obviously at this point, we're just fine-tuning things. We know approximately what the tax rate's going to be. And the way it equates, if your assessed value went up 33 or 34%, depending on where we zero in on the tax rate, your tax rate, your tax bill is either going to be the same or go down next year.
Okay, so that's really important for people to hear that. Yeah. For not everyone in Portsmouth, but for a significant amount of people in Portsmouth, it's going down.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter what the assessed value is on your home, whether it's $400,000, $600,000, $1.2 million, $2 million. The break point between paying more or paying less than you did last year is going to be about 34%.
What does that mean? Sorry.
So let's say let's say you have $1 million home.
Yes.
All right, last year.
Yeah.
And your $1 million home, it came in at a 32% tax rate. you're going to pay less next year than you paid last year. So, or 32% increase in your assessed value.
Okay.
So if your assessed value went up 38%, I just ran a couple numbers. I had some charts here. But
I know I was teasing you about getting out a whiteboard. I guess we're not doing that quite, but let's talk through it.
A median value, the median value of a home last year was about $480,000. The new median value of a home next year with this full reval is about $651,000. So anybody whose new median value
is that the 38% we've been talking about?
Yes. So yeah, exactly. So let's say you came in, your assessed value at 34% increase is even. Your bill is going to be the same as it was last year.
Okay.
Anything below that 34% assessed value will go down, and of course it goes up. But let's say it went up 40%. All right, your tax bill is going to go up $70 a quarter, or $281 next year.
Okay.
So the value of your home far exceeded the increase that will happen in the tax rate that you pay.
Okay.
And that goes into the wonky stuff. There's a lot of factors that go into building a budget, but the tax levy, the amount of money that is pulled from tax revenue, can only go up year over year by law no more than 4%.
Right, and you've said that every show you've been on.
So you can't exceed that. And the levy is not just like, taxes on homes or the values on homes went up, so we're going to get a lot more money in a town. That's not the way it works at all.
Right.
You can only bring in the amount of money you need to provide the services the town is obligated to provide and pay our contracts. That's it.
Right.
So the levy is going to go up, obviously, and the levy is only one part of the revenues, but it's the major part of the revenues. And you have three different levies. You have a levy on residential, commercial, and tangible property. Once you get that levy income, there's other revenues that the town has. All of that goes into the pile to pay the expenditures. The expenditures for the town, and again, I'll publish this on Monday. We're still fine-tuning it, but these numbers aren't going to change a whole lot. The total expenditures for the town is going to go up about 2.5, little over 2.5%.
Okay.
Okay. And that's broken up too. So the total expenditures in the municipal side of government is only going to go up about 2%. The total expenditures on the school, that budget's going to go up by 2.9%.
Okay.
So overall, those two are going to equate to about a 2.5, little over 2.53% increase in the total budget, the bottom line budget number. The levy is going to go up more than that because the levy makes up so much more of the revenues that the town receives. But to put it in perspective, right now, the current inflation rate, U.S., is 2.4. Well, why did our budget go up more than U.S. inflation? The U.S. inflation, or the CPI for the Northeast region, which is where we live, is 2.7.
So we're below that.
We've kept that budget growth below inflation. And inflation is projected to increase, depending on who you ask now, but it is projected to increase across all agencies that are tracking this, whether it's the U.S. government agencies or international agencies. It's projected to go up. So we're doing everything we can to keep that budget increase as low as possible. But the levy's going to go up, and this is where people get fixated on, how close are we to the cap? The reality is, and I did put this out in January, that the levy can only go up about 4%. We're going to get very close to that 4%.
Yeah.
It is just what it is. Why? The biggest reason is health and dental premiums went up health premiums went up 16.47, so almost 16.5%, which we're obligated to pay. Dental, we're banking on 9, but they haven't decided. It's going to fall between 9 and 11%. Those are huge numbers, and that's what drove the school from a 2.5% increase in the appropriation to 2.9.
Yeah.
You have that, and then the other thing, we have an election coming up in November, and I think most people, especially if you have children in the school, are aware that we are going to put a bond referendum on the ballot.
Yes.
We anticipate there's no significant decrease in debt service for the next couple years. But that debt service on that new bond will be due June 20th or June 30th, 2028. That's not this budget that I'm writing right now. That's the follow-on budget.
Right. And is this for the middle school?
Most of it is for the middle school, but it's across all the schools.
And I'm looking forward to interviewing the superintendent soon.
Oh, she'll talk you up. She's
so amazing.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
You will get, so on top of the current debt service, we're going to have to factor in, what is the debt service going to be on that bond? Well, we don't know what the bond amount is going to be. We're just figuring, okay, it's going to be between $30, $35 million. You know, all the work comes out to 40-some million, and that'll probably be what the authorization, at least to ride, is going to be, you know, up to that amount. But
correct.
What goes before the bond voters is going to be less once it gets hashed out at the council level. But what does that mean to me? It means I've got to figure out how we're going to be able to make that bond payment on June 30th, 2028.
Right.
We don't have the capacity to do that.
So you have to get ready to do it now. You have to
so
start prepping for that now.
Just to put it in blunt terms, that bond payment is probably going to be on the order of $1.5 million. This budget going up to almost the cap is an increase of about, with only a 2.5%, less than inflation, is a $1.9 million increase.
Okay.
That 1.9 funds all the increases in contracts and fuel, utilities, water, hydrant fees, contract negotiations, business.
So that has to happen.
That has to happen.
So we've got to find another $1.5 million.
So where does that money come from?
Right.
Well, it comes from building up the budget here and trying to build into this budget and the next budget, what is it that we need to do in town,
right,
so that we don't go to the legislature and ask to go over the cap, right? So we are building in we're trying to address capital needs now and then next year so that we can reduce that capital and be able to pay that debt service.
So are you running into people that don't understand that concept?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
I'm just wondering, like, I get it. It's a little complicated, but it's forward-looking and seems very smart.
There's only one other alternative. If we don't plan ahead, we're going to get a bill. We're going to go out to bond. We're going to figure out, okay, this bill is going to be due, and when we build that 2028 budget,
then it's going to really hurt.
We'll go over the cap, and we're going to have to go to the legislature and ask to go over the cap. We won't have a choice. There's no other way we can pay it.
Right. And that'll be painful. So we'd like to avoid that.
It won't be pleasant.
It won't be, no.
So,
not at the top 10 things to do.
So, I mean, it scares people when we talk about that number, but when you put it in the actual, what is it going to do to your textile? Again, about 1/3 of folks are going to get a tax bill decrease, maybe a little bit more. There's going to be the middle people that are going to be paying about the exact same amount they paid last year. And then there are going to be the people that are going to be paying more. And of course, it's graduated depending on how much your assessed value increased. Now, with respect to the assessed values, there are people that are concerned, that disagree with the change in their assessed values. Yeah. All I can do is implore. The directions are in the letter that you received in the mail this week. The directions are there. Call, visit, or go online and click on the link. There is an avenue. And right now, you can informally discuss this with the tax assessor's office, and he will accommodate to the greatest, he will listen to the arguments. If they're valid, it will change. If he can't, he'll let you know. But now is the time to do it.
Okay.
Because if you
That's
wait
the recourse,
if you wait beyond the budget cycle, then it becomes much more complicated and formal. You have to go before a tax assessment review board, and it's
right.
I'm not discouraging people from doing that, but I think it's much easier if you have a valid concern to bring it up to the tax assessor now.
Okay.
And I did clear this with Matt ahead of time. He knows that I'm going to say this.
Yeah,
right?
he's going to watch
and
this show and be like, Rich, what?
But he even put
Of
it in
course
the
he
letter.
did.
But this is the time to really tackle this if you really disagree. But then there's other folks that they may not be happy with the answer because if you live in a neighborhood where all your neighboring properties have sold for a much higher value than what you think your house is worth, people get confused that, well, I haven't done anything to my home. Of course, that's understood, but the actual physical bricks and wood and mortar that go into your home is only one part of that tax assessment.
Right.
I know that I've never been in real estate, but I've always heard location, location, location. If all your neighbor homes are going for, $800,000 and you think your house should be valued at $300,000, that's probably not going to be the argument that will win the day.
Right, right. Oh, well, I guess Matt will be fielding a lot of those, right?
Yeah.
Is it your impression that a lot of people are, you're fielding your own emails and...
I think my impression is that it comes down to people think that increase in the assessment, that percentage equates to the percentage that their taxes are going to go up, and it's not.
So that's what we need to keep communicating.
Yeah.
It's a 38% increase in your assessed value does not mean a 38% increase in your tax bill.
A 38% increase in your tax bill or your assessment, might equate to about, give or take, $50 a quarter.
Okay.
All
right.
So and that's real money. I get it.
Right. But it's not as crazy as it maybe seems when you get this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people who actually get a lower tax bill next year. Yeah. But equally so, there's going to be a lot of people who get a higher tax bill, and there's going to be a lot of people there's really going to be no.
You're going to get a lot of thank yous.
No, never. That's kind of funny.
Right.
No, that doesn't happen.
Well, I thank you. I think you're an amazing town administrator.
I appreciate it very much. I don't think it's about the town administrator, and I'm the face of the town hall and the administration. I get it. But we have worked for a long time. There are very highly qualified, highly educated, and highly experienced people that we have brought on board our staff, and I can't say enough good things about them. Our tax assessor, our planner, our chiefs of our public safety departments, public works, business development director, our emergency management director, our town clerk,
it's an amazing
finance
team.
director, our HR director, and really the size of our staff. There's really been no significant growth in the size of this municipal administration in decades.
And they're juggling so much more.
The town has gone from 1970s, 9,000 residents. We have over 18,000 residents now. But we still, in what they have been able to do, we have a professional fire department. Both our fire department and our police departments are accredited nationally. We have a road surface rating with the same number of people that we had in 1970 something. We still have 16 DPW employees, but our road surface rating has been in the good, satisfactory category now for the last 8 years. People might not realize that right now. This winter has really taken a toll.
Brutal,
the potholes
right?
have been brutal. And I would just ask people, please bear with us. We're painfully aware. The crews are out there doing the best they can, but once the weather warms up, we can get our hands on the appropriate mixes that will fix those potholes on a more permanent basis. So what has been done now is just to get us to the point to where the asphalt factories are opening up. We can get the hot patches and we can get the crews out there to work on them. But these people are doing amazing work. I neglected to mention the recreation director and then the committees that we have that are working on issues in town. It's just, So I guess that's a long way of me saying it's not the town administrator. I get to be the ringleader and try to, get all the monkeys pointing in one direction. But, once they're there, they're off and running, and it's a pleasure to work with these folks. It can be trying sometimes. I like to say that when people come to my office, generally people are walking in town hall not because they're happy. They're coming in because they're trying to get something done. They're trying to pull a building permit, or they got to pay a fine, or they got to pay their taxes. That doesn't put people in the best moods. But I always ask people, how many employees did you pass from that front door to my office? And generally the answer is in the single digits, maybe one. That's what we're dealing with. These people are working hard to make sure that we do the best we can for the town, and I firmly believe that.
Yeah, and while I'm excited that maybe as a taxpayer we're keeping below that cap, it scares me a little that we're not keeping up with inflation, because who pays that price? It's our employees, right? Who pays that price?
Yeah, I guess that's obviously one way to look at it, but we're constantly looking for ways to
perks and.
Well, how do we become more efficient? How do we deliver the same service or a better service for a less cost? And every organization does this. I mean, I'll use an overly simplified example. We're not typing things anymore. We're not dealing with a lot of paper, even though I brought a bunch of paper here. We do have a fiber network. We are taking advantage of computer programs. We are automating as much as we can. We are trying to create efficiencies throughout the small state of Rhode Island that we live in. We do have mutual aid agreements with other services around us. So it requires you, the people on staff, me, to always have our aperture open as wide as we possibly can, while not losing focus on what we need to do, but also catching those opportunities that exist for us to, deliver a service as cheap as possible, as least expensive as possible to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And we're very sensitive to that.
You're doing an amazing job. My goodness, if you've got a weekend planned with the finance director and the tax, very exciting.
I know. I'm a nerd.
I love it. I love it. So would you believe we only have 5 minutes left? So what do we need to hit?
Well, let's talk about the other elephant in the room that's captured a lot of attention, and let's touch upon trash.
Okay.
Because really that's what my life has been revolving around.
Let's talk trash.
So people are very, very concerned about what the sticker prices are going to be for curbside and trash. So the transfer station, the bottom line, what drives those sticker prices, quite frankly, is participation. That is the overarching driver of what those sticker prices are going to be. And we'll talk curbside first. People are they're very quick to say, well, we missed the mark and we should have forecasted what the participation rate was going to be better than we did. We pulled on data, and that data comes straight from the tax rolls. We know exactly how many single-family homes, we know exactly how many condos, we know what the tangible part, we know everything that there is to know that would drive that figure. And that analysis showed that we had, and we even underestimated it because there's more, but we said 67 eligible households for both the transfer station, and we're talking about not Prudence, we're talking about this side, 6,700 households. At that time, we were looking at a little over 2,200 people in the transfer station. So 2,200 off the top of that. All right, you get 4,500. Our best analysis that we could determine based on consultant input and what we could determine was that, all right, there's going to be 500 households that are going to come up with they're going to take their trash to work, they own a business, or they're, that Yankee spirit, you can't tell me what to do.
Yes.
Okay, great. That leaves you with 4,000 eligible households. Intuitively, we knew we were right on two cases. One, when we interviewed the top two candidates, the bid responders, Waste Management and Mega, Waste Management stated in their interviews with us, this is nothing on paper, but in their interviews with us, they stated that they had to pick up 6,000 bins. That's 3,000 customers right there, a bin for recycling, a bin for trash. Mega said they had a little over 1,000 customers that they would have to pick up the old bins and then give the new bins to. There's 4,000 right there, and we haven't even gotten to the other 3 or 4 companies operating in town. That intuitively validates what we came up with. Second, there's people that say, well, we should have only anticipated 80%. Okay. Take the number of eligible households, subtract out who is in the transfer station, take 80% of that, and you get 4,000.
Yeah, you're
you get
triangulating.
4,300. So we knew that that's the number. What are people doing? I don't know. So what did that do? All right, that's a deficit. That's anywhere from 700 to 800 households that we anticipated signing up for curbside that did not sign up.
So we're at 3,300 about.
So we're about 3,225. Okay. All right. So
but we're just year one.
Please, I want to hug you. Yes, this is the first year of the program.
We're just year one.
Let this thing settle out. So now we know that's a number that we're going to program into the curbside cost for next year, 3,225. All right. So, but it's a club, it's an enterprise fund, so the people that participate have to pay the fees. So that deficit, that 700 to 800 needs to be figured into the costs for next year. After that, the price will drop down because I don't anticipate we're going to lose. I think with our outreach programs that we plan, it'll go up. So that's one. Transfer station. Transfer station
we've got 1
is
minute. Yeah.
Long story short, transfer station was always on a calendar year, then we went to an 18-month cycle, then we went to a fiscal year. Up until this year, we've always been trying to forecast what the participation rate will be and what the surplus or deficit would be. It never matched what the audited numbers are, and the audited numbers were always 2 years behind. So the reality is there's probably been some not miscalculation, there's always been a mismatch between reality and what was forecast. That has built up probably since the inception of this program, and it's $86,000. We've determined that we're now on the same calendar as our audits. We'll use the audited number and we'll plug that in, and it's an $86,000 deficit that has to be addressed. And I've been accused of being a poor leader, absolutely subterfuge. And I would just like to say that it's absolute malarkey, all right? We have to base our numbers on facts. Those are the facts.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I'm
and
so
it's still
glad
the
you
best
got a
deal in
chance
town.
to say that. We'll keep talking trash. We'll keep talking.
I appreciate it.
Rich, I'm so appreciative of you coming on, and we'll do it again soon because there's so much to talk about.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, everyone. This has been Portsmouth This Week with my guest, Rich Rayner.